Whoa, these chairs are really rolly.
What?
They roll a lot. Okay. Guys, these things are like serious. They weren't playing around with these chairs. Okay, so we're talking about what's in my camera bag today, and oddly enough, I actually got the DJI Mic 2. Now, I know that one of the features that was proudly boasted was 32-bit float, but little did I know that you actually needed some software to actually read the information on their beat. So all that to say, this is what that looked like. We're gonna get straight into it because from last year, there's not really much of a change. Just a couple of things that I have introduced, some things that I've gotten rid of, only because the things that I've reintroduced, I'm gonna be keeping for the long haul, and they've just served me well over the last year. So to start off, I had a little incident last year with the bag that I had. I was at Jeep Fest last year, just basically a huge conglomeration of people with Jeeps, and this is what happened to my bag. Yeah, so that bag became no longer useful. So I've switched over to something like this. It's just a whole lot more simple, no name brand, it's just very simple. And I wanted something that could just open up one flap and you've got access to everything. So we're gonna start things off with the obvious, the DJI Mic 2. LPE 17 batteries for the Canon R8. These things suck. This is the third time running this video through. We're not here to talk about batteries, we're here to talk about camera gear. DJI Mic 2. I have upgraded to this thing because in the recent past, in all my videos, where I shoot in my living room, a lot of you have been gracious enough. I thought there was a cat. A lot of you have been gracious enough to tell me that the audio sucks. I completely agree. It's because my walls are not soundproof. I'm here because I'm just not at home right now. Now, oh, that's my chair. I thought that was a cat. I don't have a whole lot of experience in order to review this in depth, but I will say, and I didn't even have any experience with the first one. Packaging right off the bat, super great. I will do a review of this in the future. A further review comes with everything you need in here, but I just came back from a trip where I was out in the wilderness for about 5 days. Never charged it once. This thing keeps the battery life running. I think it's advertised at 14 hours. DJI Mic 2, it's been great. The audio I've been able to get, the sound effects have been awesome. I will be playing with this a whole lot more and release a further review in the future. Now, before we get into the bag, last year I had this GorillaPod. This thing, I really undervalued and underappreciated it. This thing has been a lifesaver. I try and stay very minimal. I don't have a whole lot of room to carry a tripod in this bag. This helps because since I go outdoors a lot, since I go hiking, this serves as a tripod, as a grip for my camera, and this can actually attach to other areas that these legs are really bendable, and so you can just really, it's very versatile. So I've been using this thing a whole lot more, especially the last week where I was constantly on the go. So we're gonna open the bag, get straight into it, and I'm gonna get one particular item out of the way that everybody has been loving considering my last video. The DJI Air 3. This is the current drone that I am currently using right now. Say what you will of this drone, okay? I did. Go check out that last video. It definitely stirred up some voices. Now, I'm not gonna talk too much about this because you can go watch that video and I talk about why I may or may not want to recommend this. But it's held up under windy situations, so I'll give it that. That is a great size for windy situations. Batteries also great. They last about 46 minutes per charge. So, and you got 3 of them with the Fly More package, you can't complain. The one thing I will highlight is the RC2 controller. This thing is a beast because it actually gives you far more range. You're never supposed to really lose the line of sight of your drone, but this thing is rated to go up to 20 kilometers. I've only ever taken it to 15,000 feet, so that stays between us. I don't know who's ever gonna take it 20 kilometers. That's insane. And if anybody does, I mean, I think I might try that this summer. This will be one of those videos. But the DJI Air 3 RC2 controller, whatever drone you get, just make sure you get the RC2 controller. And it just eliminates the whole foam thing. It's just, I hated that. Anyway, we'll leave that there. Now, staying in line with the drone conversation. One thing that I will touch on is the ND filters that you can buy for these things. Basically, an ND filter, all it is just sunglasses for your camera. It allows you to bring the shutter speed down to get more natural movement, more motion blur, all that kind of stuff. CPL filter, this is really just to eliminate glare. So if you're shooting over a body of water and you want the, you want the colors to pop, you want the blue in the sky to be a little more crisp, this helps a lot. ND filters, I don't launch this drone without one of these on there unless it's a cloudy day like today, because that's an ND filter for the sun. Now, I got a couple of other things. So I am still rocking the Rode mic. It's the Micro, I think. I use this thing outside when it becomes too much of a hassle to put the receiver for the DJI Mic 2 on the camera. And it's a good shotgun mic. It just doesn't work for indoors where the sound is not, or where sound is just going to be bouncing around and the room is just not soundproof. This is what I was using in videos prior where everybody was telling me the sound sucks. Well, I spent money on it, okay? I spent money on this, so. An underrated tool of every camera bag. This thing is awesome, and it's dirt cheap. This is how you clean your lenses, your sensors. All you do is it just puffs a little bit of air in there, so you don't have to go in there with a swab or anything and risk damaging any sensitive components. This is awesome. Everyone should get one of these. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about this. I will just say, so this is a 50mm. It's a prime lens. I have been shooting a lot. I love 35mm. That's what I shoot on mostly. This is what I'm shooting on with right now. But this leads me to one critical point that I kind of moved away from last year. Last year I was shooting on kit lens because that's what I did. I mean, that's what most people do when they get a brand new camera, get the kit lens, it's obvious. Those things are trash. Now, I'm gonna kind of toe the line with the advice I gave. Last year I said, start with the kit lens because it'll help you understand which direction you may wanna take it in and understand your upgrade when it happens. I'm still gonna hold to that. If you start with the kit lens, move away from that as soon as humanly possible. A 50mm lens is probably the cheapest one. I'm talking for the Canon line, by the way, the Canon ecosystem. It ranges around 129 to 200 based on, if you're shooting on RF or EF mount. Regardless of any camera that you're shooting with, if you start with the kit lens, sure, use that to understand your camera and your settings, all that kind of stuff, but understand you're gonna need to move away from that as soon as possible to start getting crispier, cleaner images. So I will release a review on the 50mm much later, but I have moved far away from kit lenses. The thing stopped working. It's just trash. Last but not least, POV. I have been heavily invested in POV, especially in shorts. Since December of 2023, I've been uploading POV shots just to give you behind the scenes of what it looks like when I go out and take photos. This is how I achieve that. I don't use a GoPro. Most people thought I did. I'm actually shooting on my iPhone. So the iPhone 14 Pro Max, this thing does everything I need it to, especially kind of like along the conversation of the kit lens. I don't need to upgrade right now, but this helps me appreciate. So whenever I do go into action cameras for ease of, I'm seeing the need to get into that now, especially since trying to get the footage from here onto your camera, that's annoying. It's just better to get it onto an SD card. But the way that I'm actually able to get such smooth footage where people actually think it's an action camera is, depending on your phone, you may or may not be able to do this. I shoot on 4K, 60 frames a second. This thing is cheap. I'll put the price on there. Oh my gosh. That's what happens when you have to shoot this video multiple times. Anyway, very simple, very brief video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you guys have any questions about any of the stuff that I reviewed. What would you include in this camera bag that I left out? And that's gonna do it for us this week. Go tell a story. I got a whole lot more content on the way for you all, so I can't wait to show that, and we will see you guys in the next video.